Hi, it's Matt. So here we have a Renault Zoe. Obviously this is a late 2015 Zoe with the 22 kilowatt hour battery pack. So that battery that sits down there under the floor is hired. You pay a monthly fee for that, and in return you get a lifetime guarantee on that battery. Renault actually guarantee it to 75% of its original state of health, and you also get breakdown cover included. So these have a long warranty on them. They've got 4-year warranty on the car and then 5-year warranty on the EV components. So effectively that's everything there under the bonnet, the motor, the charger and the inverter and so forth. And on these Renault Zoes, if you extend the warranty before it's 4 years old, you can keep doing that annually until the car is 10 years old or 100,000 miles. So well worth doing. To have a second-hand car that's still warranted up to 10 years old is fantastic. It costs £289 for the first year, and obviously it needs doing before it reaches 4 years old, and in this case this is one of those because it doesn't reach 4 years until the end of December. So the purpose of these videos primarily is to describe the condition, and then I'm quite picky with that. I point out every little stone chip, scratch or anything I can find, and that gives people the confidence to buy the car without coming to view it, and most people do, and then I just deliver the car to you, and I can deliver vehicles anywhere in the country. So let's walk around and show you the condition. Oh, what I'll firstly just say is I've had this car in before. I actually sold it just over a year ago to someone locally, and I've brought it back in because they've got a Tesla Model 3 coming. It's about the third car in a row I've actually done that where people have upgraded to Teslas. So condition wise, very little to point out on this. It's an immaculate car. Looking around the front, there's no stone chips. There's a couple of very minor ones low down on the bumper. Here there's 3 little ones which I've dabbed a bit of touch-up stick in, but obviously you're always going to get that, and this is plastic as well, so it's not going to rust, but you know, you're only looking at a few inches off the ground there. The rest of it is all scratch free and chip free. The only thing, there's 2 little minor things I need to point out. There's a little bit of grazing there on the alloy wheel, a little bit there and a little bit on the spoke. That's about it. All the other alloys are really nice condition. It's also got new tyres on the front as well. There isn't a mark, stone chip or scratch to point out on the bodywork, apart from that little one there, which I did a year ago when it was first in, and it's got a bit of touch-up stick in there, and there was a sort of nasty stone chip there. But as I said, that was a year ago, and it's still the same. So, oh, there's a tiny little bit of scratching on the alloy wheel there, but really insignificant. And that's all I really need to point out, to be honest. The rest of it is immaculate. It's also had new badges front and back, because these have a habit of peeling. They have a blue effect on them originally, but it's just gone into Renault and had new badges under warranty. It's also had the BMS update. That's the battery management system software, which helps on the range meter. So it's had that done as well. Walking around here, that alloy is all good, and there's just nothing to show you along here. Normally you get dents on these Zoes where other doors hit on this protruding ridge in car parks and things, but there isn't a single mark or dent on this car, and that alloy wheel there is all good as well, and a new tyre, as I said. And then back round to the front, we've got the new chrome badge now. Renault have given up on the blue idea and they're all just chrome now. And then looking on the inside, oh, one other minor thing I suppose I could point out is there's a little well, what do you call it, scratch, gouge or whatever in the plastic trim here. 2 little ones there, the size of a fingernail. They were there when I had it in a year ago as well. Door cards are all scratch free. It's all really nice condition inside. You know, there's nothing to point out at all. And looking on this side, door cards all good, and yeah, all really nice condition. And then in the boot here, it's all very clean and tidy. We've got the charge cable there, type 2 to type 2, and there's the original Renault safety kit, which includes a fluorescent vest and a warning triangle and that sort of stuff. And underneath here we've got the puncture repair kit and the locking wheels, so all that is in place as well. And it's just continuing around on this side so you can see all the sides. I hope you can see okay, because it's evening and the sun is very low and I'm getting some very strong shadows. but that's what it's going to be like this time of year now when I'm doing these videos. And yeah, door card's all good, and yeah, driver's side seats all clean and tidy, no marks, no wear. Actually, let's just jump in. And then up here on the dash we can see the mileage, 14,726 miles, so hardly done any miles for a car of this age. I can also just show you here we do have 2 original remote keys, and we've got here the books and the service stamps in the back. So we've got two Renault stamps here. This is when I had it in before and I fitted a new 12-volt battery. That was in 2018. And then a service at Fish Brothers in Swindon at 11,000 miles. So, you know, that's only 3,700 miles ago on January 2019. And if I just start it up, pushing the button down there, we can just scroll round to the service information here on the dash. Let's get to it. There we go. Next service due in 14,400 miles or 5 months time. And servicing on these cars, it's only an inspection service and a pollen filter change. It would have been due a 12-volt battery in the next one, but that's already been done. So servicing on these is somewhere between 80 and 90 quid at a main dealer. Very quickly, I'll just show you briefly what these cars have got. They've got a reversing camera. I'll just put it into reverse, and we can see here we've got a reversing camera. You also get sensors as well on the back. You don't get anything on the front. We've got a heat pump heating system, so it's a lot more efficient. This has also got preheating and pre-cooling, so you can condition the car before you get in while it's plugged into your charger. You can either do it on the key by pushing and holding that button if you're in range of the car, and then it will put the heating or the air conditioning on for 15 minutes beforehand and condition the vehicle. Or you can do it on a timer up on the screen here and tell it what time you leave to go to work every morning, and then while the car's plugged into the charger, it will obviously be charged up from the night before, but it switches back on, draws power from your house and gets the car ready. And in the winter it melts all the ice off the windows, gets the interior nice and warm, so when you leave you've still got full battery and full range as well. And actually then you probably don't need your heating on because the car's already warm. But the heating system on these, being a heat pump, they are very efficient, and you don't get a particularly a high drop of range in a loss of range, should I say, in the winter. You're probably only looking at something like 5 to 10% and in the winter on these, and most of that is because the battery pack's actually cold and the batteries are less efficient. I drive a Zoe myself. We've got 2 Zoes in the family, and you know, you don't really notice much loss of range if you're going to use the heating or the air conditioning on these. So we have an eco button down here that dulls the power to the motor, and it also reduces the performance of your heating, because the heating and the air conditioning system is the only thing that draws power from your traction battery underneath the car. So when you got it in eco mode, it just gives you a little bit less performance, and dulls the power to that to save power and extend your range. You got cruise control and speed limiter, sat nav, radio. It's only FM radio on these. The later models have DAB. This one doesn't have DAB. Yeah, that's about it really. We've got automatic lights, automatic wipers. We've got audio controls there for your stereo. You've got voice control, nice leather steering wheel, bit of leather down there on the gear stick, traditional handbrake. But yeah, these are nicely kitted out cars. You've obviously got electric windows and electric mirrors as well. You've also got an audible system at the front, so when you're driving below about 19 miles an hour, it plays a tone out the front of the car so cyclists and pedestrians can hear you, and you can change that tone. There's 3 different sounds that the car can make, or you can turn it off. You can also customize the dash you've got a button up here and you can change the style of the dashboard. It also changes the noise of the indicators, and it also changes the start up and shut down noises as well. And there's a lot of stuff you can do on here. You can stream music from your phone. It doesn't have a CD player, I should say. That's sort of old hat now, and it's all music streaming. But you've got sat nav, Bluetooth telephone as well, multimedia streaming. You can also stream videos from your phone as well. So yeah, I think I've pretty much covered everything inside. Oh, and I would just say automatic gear selector. All electric cars, you drive like an automatic, but this is nothing much more than a switch, because electric cars don't have gearboxes. But you have an automatic gear selector, park, reverse, neutral, drive, to make it familiar, and you drive it like an automatic. And then I'll just quickly show you some of the paperwork. We've got the V5 here, and it's got one previous keeper, so 2 keepers from new, and the registration date is the 18th of the 12th 2015. And then here we've got the PDI documents from when the vehicle was new, and we've also got some receipts from Renault, previous V5, and various actually I've got to take some of that out because that's the previous customer's battery agreement. But yeah, we've got various receipts here, and a check sheet there from when I had it first time round, another receipt there for a service. So yeah, we've got all the paperwork you would want to see, and as always, everything works as it should do. This one's just been in and had the software upgrade, as I said, and had the batteries changed, so that's done. And it's got new tyres on the front. So yeah, I'll just quickly talk about range. On the 22 kilowatt hour Zoes, typically you're going to get around the 90 mile mark in the summer. You can actually, from the R motor on these, if you drive very gently, you can get them just over 100 miles in the summer. It's just like petrol and diesel cars. It depends on your driving style. If you're going to accelerate hard and brake hard, you're going to get worse range. It's no different to internal combustion engine. But with electric cars, you've obviously want to use the regenerative braking. So what that is when you lift off the accelerator, the motor effectively turns into a dynamo and it slows you down. It's a bit like engine braking. So you're slowing down on the motor. And it shows you here on the dash when you're doing the regen braking. And so you've got to read the road ahead a bit more. So when you're coming up to lights or roundabout or a junction, you lift off the accelerator and you coast. And as you're coasting, the vehicle's slowing down, and all that time you're charging the battery pack. So effectively you want to drive like you got no brakes. You just read the road a bit more, lift off the accelerator sooner, and allow the vehicle to slow down by itself, and then you're putting energy back in the battery. As soon as you touch the brakes, you're throwing away that kinetic energy into friction and heat on the brake pads. So you want to try to not do that so much. It's a little bit different on the Zoes, because the Zoes you can adjust the regen braking with the brake pedal. So the first bit of travel on the brake pedal is actually increasing your regen, but that is only at higher speeds. They have a little bit of a different system on the Zoes, but it's like all cars. If you can use the brakes less, slow down slower, read the road a bit better, then that's how you get your increased range. So range on these, as I said, you're looking at somewhere between 90 and 100 miles if you drive them gently in the summer. And then in the winter, you'll be around the 70 to 80 mile mark, something like that. But it does depend on temperature. It does also slightly depend on heating or air conditioning use, because that's the only other item that draws power from the traction battery underneath. But as I said, this one has had the BMS update, the battery management system update, so the range meter is more accurate. The battery isn't fully charged at the moment. It was at 90% when I unplugged just now, and we're seeing 114 miles. It's just clicked down to 113 because I'm sat here filming with the ignition on. You're not going to get that really at 90%, but it's because I've reset it and it's lost all the previous driving history. when this is fully charged, it will show a theoretical range of something like 130 miles, but you're never going to get that. That's just not achievable. It's got to learn your driving style, which it displays on a screen here. Actually, every time you stop, you get a screen here which shows you your driving style, where you can improve your speed or anticipation, and you get a score out of 100, and it shows you your consumption, which in electric cars is miles per kilowatt hour. Yeah, so because this has had the software update and I've also reset it, so it's lost the driving history, it's got nothing to base it on, so it gives you a theoretical maximum, but in reality you'll be looking around the 90-mile mark. So I'll just show you the charging. You can open the charge flap from a button on the dash or a button here on the key, and the Zoes have a Type 2 connector there at the front. It's AC charging only. This has got the 22 kilowatt charger on board, so if you were to pull up to a public rapid charger, which are typically 43 kilowatts, the car will be drawing 22 kilowatts, and what that means is it charges from 0 to 80%. On these it's about 50 minutes to an hour, something like that. And then obviously home charging, it's overnight charging typically. And what I can do is provide you with a portable charger, often called a granny cable, and that allows you to charge the car on a normal 3-pin plug, and you can charge the car anywhere. So what I do is a free loan of those, so I can provide that cable. You have to buy the cable initially, and then you can use it up to a month, and then ideally you get a home charger installed, and then when you've got that charger installed, if you no longer want that portable charger, you can return it back to me and I'll give you a 100% refund. So that's why I say it's a free loan. But a lot of people end up keeping the cables because they're very handy things to have, because when you go and visit friends and family, or no matter where you are, you can charge on a 3-pin plug. And then the home chargers, they're now from £300 to get installed, because you get a government grant of £500 towards the cost, the OLEV grant. The installer claims for that on your behalf, so you end up they cost from £300 to get installed. That usually takes about 2 weeks to get installed. I can arrange that as well, but obviously in the meantime you can use that portable charger to charge on a 3-pin plug. They do take longer on that cable because they can only draw 10 amp, whereas when you plug into a home charger it will actually draw 32 amp, but it will still be charged overnight and ready for the morning. So this car is ready to go. It's all been waxed as well, even the roof. It's lovely and smooth. So yes, so if you're interested, then give me a call or email. Let me know your postcode and I'll work out delivery cost, and I can deliver this anywhere in the country, and it will come to you on a flatbed, fully charged and ready to use.